From the north side of the San Francisco Bay to Singapore, welcome to Urban X Real Talk Fitness Radio with your host, business owner, lecturer, author, master trainer, Tiaja. With over 30 years of experience in the health and fitness industry, he will challenge the fitness between your ears. So prepare your mind, body, and soul for the revolution of self-care, the evolution of fit, with real talk about real people, real health, real fitness, and the real deal behind our present illness culture. Real talk every time, all the time. Get weekly insights on how to shift your thinking, emoting, eating, training, hydrating, goal setting, and resting for you, the everyday athlete. You can cheat your fitness, but you can't steal your health flow. It's Tuesday, 9 a.m. Let's flow.
Welcome to Urban X Real Talk Fitness Radio, where we challenge the fitness between your ears. I'm your host, Tiaja. Okay, let's see. There's the Thigh Master, Nintendo Wii workouts, Tybo, Insanity, Beachbody, P90X. Now, I could go on and on. But what do these names have in common? Well, all of them were once considered the top fitness trend of their respective years. Indeed, every year comes with its own fitness trends. So what are the so-called hot fitness trends of 2019? Well, it looks like the American College of Sports Medicine has a few ideas. As the largest sports medicine and exercise science organization in the world, ACSM releases an annual list of the hottest trends and topics in the fitness world. According to ACSM, here are the top 5 fitness trends for 2019. Ready? Okay. Topping the list for the second consecutive year is wearable technology like fitness trackers or pedometers and heart rate monitors. The market for these products is booming and shows no signs of slowing down. In fact, sales hit more than $4 billion in 2017. Now, it's no secret that I'm not a huge fan of fitness gadgets and gizmos, but I am a fan of you doing whatever you need to do to stay motivated. If getting biofeedback from a fitness tracker every day is your thing and it motivates you, then I say go for it. Number 2, group training. I completely agree. Not to mention the friendly competition and accountability it fosters. Number 3, HIIT training. High intensity interval training. Now, everyone probably knows what HIIT training is by now, but just in case you don't, let me quickly explain. The idea behind HIIT training is to work out in short bursts of increased exercise intensity at maximum or near maximum heart rate. Theoretically, this means you'll burn more calories in 20 to 30 minutes than you would in a longer session. Think sprinting for 15 seconds, then walking or jogging for 45 seconds for a minimum of 10 minutes. Number 4, fitness classes for older adults. As so-called baby boomers age into retirement, many health and fitness professionals are taking the time to create age-appropriate fitness programs to keep older adults healthy and active. Now, I applaud this. In addition, however, I believe that Medicare should include the cost of fitness or health-related classes or absorb gym costs along with a personal trainer who perhaps can provide real-time biofeedback or real-time feedback to your primary care provider, meaning they both work together for greater efficacy and accountability, which is a win-win for you. Number 5, body weight training. Yep, the secret is out. This is one of the core components of our rhythm fitness boot camps. Now, I know that's a shameless plug, but according to ACSM, body weight training is one of the next top exercise trends of 2019 and beyond, and for good reason. You don't need fancy equipment or expensive memberships or very much room for these workouts. Body weight training helps increase lean muscle mass in individuals, especially when combined with aerobic activity. So the latest trends in fitness are all about what I call fitness without walls. No surprise there. But here's the thing. Many of you may have to leave the comfort and controlled environment of the gym this year in search of greener pastures, pun intended. Moving your workout outdoors at least 1 or 2 days a week may be just the thing you need to challenge the monotony of routine and get you into a new mindset that will galvanize your resolve while inspiring a renewed sense of commitment you'll need to achieve those results you've been working towards for what seems like forever but haven't yet realized. Today will be just another day unless you decide that it won't be. It is Tuesday, February 12th, 2019. Let's flow. When I look at the fitness trends for the last 10 years, basically the same exercises jumped off the page. I've been saying forever that when it comes to the health and fitness industry, that there is nothing new under the sun, that often what we think are new trends are no more than recycled ones, repackaged as something new to a wanton, often desperate public. For instance, step aerobics became jazzercise, became Zumba. That's the way the fitness evolution usually works. Still, one of the major reasons you're not changing is because you never stick to any one thing consistently long enough for your body to have to adapt rather than merely adjust to your routine, which includes your diet. So you burn a few calories here or there and drop a few pounds, then you go right back to making the same choices that precipitated your weight gain. And before you know it, frustration sets in and now you quit because you're convinced nothing works. But what you don't realize is that everything works if you work it long enough. Just like you didn't gain your weight overnight, you're not going to lose it overnight either. Any rapid weight loss is looked upon as a red flag to the body. In fact, it is a declaration of war. In the last several episodes, I explained why this is so. Your body fat is not some passive thing loitering in your body. Fat is not only metabolically active, it communicates to other cells. Your fat has goals of its own, and its main goal is to make sure the body stores enough fat for all the bodily functions it's responsible for. One of the ways it regulates this is by secreting a protein into the bloodstream called leptin. Leptin is responsible for managing nutritional states in the body, meaning you cannot go rogue on trying to lose weight quickly and not expect the body to fight back. But that is mostly the story of subcutaneous fat, which is the easier fat to lose. How about the other more dangerous fat known as visceral fat? What is the quickest way for you to measure whether or not you have a lot of visceral fat? Well, just look in the mirror. Visceral fat is the fat that is mostly responsible for your protruding belly and large waistline. Your hip and thigh muscles may be obscured by subcutaneous fat, but excess visceral fat covers your vital organs, and not only that, it changes the way they and the body operates in general. Take a listen to this. I'll be back to give you my 2 cents.
Hey there, my friend, welcome. I'm Dr. Anthony Balduzzi. I'm the founder here at the Fit Father Project. In today's video, we are going to talk about visceral fat, which is a very special and dangerous kind of fat that accumulates around your organs. And it's a lot different than just the belly fat that we can kind of pinch when we grab our bellies or we grab our arms. We feel that the visceral fat is the deep organ fat. And we're going to talk about what it is, what it does to your body, and some ideas on how you can lose the visceral fat to make yourself healthier. I know you're going to learn a ton in this video. Grab a pen and paper. Let's dive on in. I can't wait to train you. So first off, let's look at fat as a whole. What fat is essentially storage containers for our bodies. I like to make the analogy that fat cells are really like grain silos where, we take all the excess energy we have and we pour it into these fat cells and we fill them up so that our bodies have more energy to use later. And this was great for our ancient ancestors where they didn't have constant food access. So in times when they can eat a ton of calories and they encountered food or they killed an animal or whatnot, however they did that, they ate a lot of calories and the body had an ability to store those calories in fat cells for later because the next meal wouldn't be for some time. So fat cells are great for that point because they can store the energy, but what happens when we live in a world like we do today where calories are galore and we don't move as much and we're still storing all these calories? And what happens is as we store the calories to a certain point, the fat cells don't just go onto our belly, they get deep inside our organs. And that's what visceral fat is. Belly fat and the kind of subcutaneous fat is the fat you can pinch. You can pinch your belly and you can feel that kind of fat. And that fat is actually not nearly as dangerous as the visceral deep fat, and they call it the fat you can press. So if you press on your belly and you see all that fat that's deep in there, that's the visceral fat. And that's the fat that really wraps around our key vital organs, like our kidneys, our liver, our intestines, and that fat is very inflammatory. It creates inflammation around those key organs, and that definitely promotes all sorts of disease and sickness. And we really want to lose the visceral fat. And this is a first key distinction, is there are some people that have a fair amount of actually body fat, but they don't have a lot of visceral fat. And these people can live very long and healthy lives. And the problem is, the more belly fat you accumulate and the more overweight you generally get, tendency is more visceral fat you will accumulate. And there are ways you can scan to see your visceral fat. But the point here is that the way to lose the visceral fat is pretty much the same way to lose, fat in general. It's to follow the good guidelines that we need to know about. So sleeping at least 7 hours, getting enough hydration, meaning taking your body weight in pounds, whatever that is right now, divide that number by 2. That's roughly how much water in ounces you should be drinking per day. 3, getting on a healthy diet. your body is not just going to spot reduce this visceral fat. If we get you in a point where you're actually losing weight and losing fat, your body's going to pull from some of that visceral fat as well. And then after you get the sleep and the hydration and the nutrition down, then we can start getting into some formal workouts. Because this is important, because visceral fat in particular, it's so deep in the body that exercise helps a lot to get the circulation going to those deep areas to really start liberating these fat cells and burning it off. That's why exercise is amazing, because yes, we burn the calories, but the circulation effect of exercise is huge for fat burning. Because like I said, those fat cells are grain silos. They have all that stored energy. And once that stored energy is released, it needs to get into the circulation system, and then it needs to get moved to our muscles and our organs, those metabolically active tissues, to be burned off. So that's why exercise is great for getting rid of visceral fat, because we get the blood pumping. It's going to really help release a lot of that fat that's deep in your body. But do understand that if your goal is to lose visceral fat, and you have visceral fat, and you have some idea that you have this kind of fat, then I highly recommend that you just focus on losing weight in general. As your weight goes down, your visceral fat will go down. And one good way to measure your progress on the visceral fat is to take a waist circumference. Get a little bit of a tape measure, check out what your belly circumference is, and then stick to these healthy eating guidelines. Get the sleep, do the hydration, do the exercise, and track the decrease in that waist circumference. As the waist circumference goes down, we can pretty much predict with high confidence that the visceral fat is going to go down, meaning the inflammation around those key organs is going to go down, and you're going to be a lot healthier. So again, that is the thing with visceral fat. It is the fat that's deep in the organs. It truly is toxic, and it's dangerous to our bodies, and we need to get rid of it if we want to live long and healthy lives. And the good news is that the way to get rid of the visceral fat is the same way that we get rid of fat in general. It's just a healthy guideline.
Now here are my 2 cents, and feel free to keep the change. Eating and hydrating are 2 key requisites to reducing the visceral fat stores in your body. Again, visceral fat is a type of body fat that's stored deep within the abdominal cavity. It's located near several vital organs, including the liver, the stomach, and intestines. It can also build up in the arteries. Visceral fat is sometimes referred to as active fat because it can actively increase the risk of serious health problems. An easy way to tell if you may be at risk is by measuring your waistline. According to the Harvard Women's Health Watch and the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, if you are a woman and your waist measures 35 inches or larger, you are at risk for health problems from visceral fat. The same Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health article notes that men are at risk for health problems when their waist measures 40 inches or more. Visceral fat can start causing health problems immediately. It can increase insulin resistance, even if you've never been diabetic or pre-diabetic. Research has found that this may be because a retinol-binding protein that increases insulin resistance is secreted by this type of fat. Visceral fat can also raise blood pressure quickly. Carrying excess visceral fat increases your risk for developing several serious long-term life-threatening medical conditions, which include heart attacks and heart disease, type 2 diabetes, stroke, breast cancer, colorectal cancer, as well as Alzheimer's disease. But what I urgently want to help you understand is the fact that not all fat is created equal, that simply losing fat for appearance sake is not only unsustainable, it can be hazardous to your long-term health and emotional well-being, because it is the visceral fat that is mostly responsible for frustrating and thwarting your weight loss efforts. Which is to say, without addressing the visceral fat, there is little chance of you dropping the pounds and keeping them off, because the visceral fat will continue to send encrypted memos to the body that contradict your fitness goals. Dear friends, I wish above all things that you prosper just as your soul prospers. You've been listening to Urban X Real Talk Fitness Radio with your host, Tiaja. We're adding a brand new segment to this podcast called In the News, where we bring you all the latest news from around the globe as it relates to health and fitness. All the news you need to keep you up to date on what's going on relative to your health. It's Real Talk Fitness News. Real talk every time. So keep it locked. Also, please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, Snapchat, as well as all of your other favorite social media. One last thing. Show your support by hitting that subscribe button and sharing this podcast with family and friends, or download our app at tiajae.podbean.com. Finally, don't forget to stop through our flagship website at www.urbanxfitness.net, where you will find our online stores, the Urban Experience Fit Stores 1 and 2. Once there, you can download our unique home and gym workouts, dietary menus, as well as purchase some remarkably bold teas and spark your own revolution of self-care. Then head over to our small library of my hand-picked, personally endorsed nutritional products. Okay, got it? Okay, then get it. Until next week, as always, walk in health and peace.